Andrés Iniesta, the calm genius who was quietly falling apart to the football world, Andrés Iniesta seemed untouchable. While other players screamed at referees, kicked the ground in frustration, or let pressure crack their composure, Iniesta simply glided, calm, quiet, almost serene. Even in the most chaotic moments of a match, commentators praised his stillness as a gift, as if he had been born without the anxiety that consumed everyone around him. Nobody watching from the stands knew the truth. Behind that calm face was a man who, for one of the most important years of his career, could barely hold himself together. A Ndre acute S. Iniesta rose through Barcelona's famous youth academy, La Masia, becoming one of the most technically gifted midfielders of his generation. By 2009, he had already won the Champions League and was part of a Barcelona side many considered the greatest club team in history. From the outside, his life looked complete. Trophies, adoration, a career most players could only dream of. But that same year, everything quietly began to collapse. In August 2009, Dani Jarque, a fellow Spanish international and captain of Espanyol, died suddenly of a heart attack at the age of 26. Jarque had played alongside Iniesta on Spain's youth national teams, and the two had known each other for years. The news hit Iniesta like nothing he had experienced before. Iniesta has since described what followed not simply as sadness, but as a kind of freefall, a period where nothing around him felt real anymore. He has said he wouldn't necessarily call it depression, nor an illness exactly, but something close to it, an unease so deep that everything around him seemed to lose its color. He has spoken about feeling as though the people around him had become distant strangers, about losing his passion and his feelings almost entirely, about reaching a point where he felt completely empty inside. There were training sessions that season he simply could not finish. His body was on the pitch, but the rest of him was somewhere far away. At home, the mask he wore in public disappeared completely. He has admitted that outside his house, it felt like he was deceiving the people around him, avoiding anything that might expose how unwell he truly was. But at night, alone, the weight of it all would surface. He has described stepping into the shower simply to cry where no one could see him. His mother, Maria Lujan, later revealed just how fragile her son had become during this period. One night, she recalled Iniesta coming downstairs, unable to sleep, quietly asking if he could stay with his parents rather than be alone. He was 25 years old, one of the best footballers on the planet, and still needed his mother nearby just to get through the night. Eventually, Iniesta made a decision that many athletes at the time were afraid to make. He sought professional help. He has since spoken about that choice without shame, describing it simply as something necessary, a recognition that when someone truly needs support, they have to go and find it, no matter who they are or what they've achieved. Slowly, painfully, he began to recover. But the timing of his personal crisis placed him on a collision course with one of the biggest stages in football history. In the summer of 2010, only months after his darkest period, Iniesta traveled to South Africa with the Spanish national team for the World Cup. Few in the stadium that day understood what he had been carrying just months earlier. On the pitch, Spain and the Netherlands were locked in a tense, goalless final, stretching deep into extra time. In the 116th minute, the ball fell to Iniesta just outside the box. He struck it first time, low and true, into the back of the net. Spain had won their first World Cup in history. As Iniesta ran to celebrate, he lifted his shirt to reveal a message written underneath. Dani Jarque, sempre con nosotros, always with us. In the middle of the greatest moment of his career, the man the world saw as endlessly calm was openly, publicly grieving the friend he had lost. Iniesta has since said that scoring that goal marked the true beginning of his recovery. a moment that helped pull him back from the darkest period of his life. It didn't erase what he had been through, but it gave him something to hold on to, proof that even in his lowest moments, he had never completely lost what mattered most to him. Years later, Iniesta chose to speak openly about that period of his life, both in interviews and in a documentary about his career. At a time when very few elite athletes were willing to admit to struggling with their mental health. For a sport built on toughness and composure, his honesty carried weight far beyond football. There is a lesson in Andrés Iniesta's story that reaches far beyond the pitch. The calmest person in the room is not always the one who has nothing weighing on them. Sometimes, they are simply the one who has learned to carry it quietly. Before assuming someone's stillness means peace, it's worth remembering that some of the hardest battles never make it to the surface at all.